than like class 1, class 2, class 3, because that is confusing. I'll relabel those, inshallah.
Inshallah.
Then. All right, so Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim and Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, everyone. So, inshallah, today we are, what class number? This is the 3rd. And yesterday we did the dhikr. Let's look at it look at it. We were doing the dhikr for waking up from sleep, and we went over those. So now we're taking the other segment, which is kind of like a chapter 2, dua, dua. لبس الثوب الجديد, basically wearing new garment. Okay, wearing a new garment. And of course, certainly remember when we're speaking about the dhikr, just remember we're basically learning how to take every certain segment in our life as a time to embrace Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Embracing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala basically means that you're recognizing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's powers. You're recognizing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's blessings. You're recognizing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's in compensation for everything, al-ihata, basically. So that's what it means to embrace Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So when you, I don't know why, after talking about waking up from sleep, I guess okay, you wake up from your sleep and I guess time to put on new clothes, maybe. That's how, and probably why he went for chapter 2 as wearing new clothes. Okay, fair enough. Okay, let's see. So dua لبس الثوب, and the dua is Alhamdulillah الذي كساني هذا, which is in parentheses, which basically is that you're taking basically taking the time to kind of understand that this is basically what you're wearing. ورزقنيه من غير حول ولا مني ولا قوة. ورزقنيه من غير حول مني ولا قوة. الحمد لله الذي كساني هذا. ورزقنيه من غير حول مني ولا قوة. So should I say هذا الثوب? You can, but that's not what was actually mentioned. So think of this as a parenthetical word. So this is in parentheses. الحمد لله الذي كساني هذا الثوب ورزقنيه من غير حول مني ولا قوة. All praises for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who has clothed me with this garment, or clothed me with this, and provided it for me with no power nor might from myself. Okay, so what is that letting us? Let's kind of scrutinize the hadith. Alhamdulillah. So you recognize that moment, that if it is something that you were granted with, whether that was a new garment or anything that is basically that is basically as a provision for you, you recognize all the time and take this embracement that it wasn't necessarily out of my own effort, but it was something that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had given it to me. And it's basically something that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was the one to be the true provider, and not me myself being the ultimate provider, but it's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala being the ultimate provider. And I'm just a tool to put this on, a tool to probably buy it, a tool, and therefore recognizing that the true power of provision is basically coming from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And وَرَزَقَنِي مِنْ غَيْرِ حَوْلٍ مِنِّي وَلَا قُوَّةٍ. And that's basically to, let's say, I guess we could put right there a colon, وَرَزَقَنِي. So alhamdulillah الذي كساني هذا الثوب. Kasani basically means to give me the ability to wear it. Okay, razaqni had given it to me in terms of provision. Min غير حول. الحول is the power, the force, and قوة is basically the effort. So in other words, the true effort in terms of provision, in terms of the ability to wear it, in terms of making this basically available to you. The true power comes from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So taking that time to recognize the true power that lies behind every single blessing that surrounds you is basically Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So question, can I actually make the dua in English? You sure can. You can. Can I, what happens if I learn how to say it in Arabic? So you learn how to say it in Arabic, that's basically that, I guess you're emulating the Prophet ﷺ by 100%. And if you say it in English, you're emulating by 50%. Can I basically say it in my own words and say, oh, all the praise be to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that gave me this new clothes and had provided it for me. I am grateful to Allah for giving me the ability to buy it, etc. Just in your own words, you sure can. Okay, this is basically recommended that you would say in these words, but if you were to make it in your own words, that's also permissible as well, and you will be rewarded for it as well. Okay, wearing a new garment. So this one is just any garment. It doesn't have to be new, but if it's a new garment, let's say, اللهم لك الحمد أنت كسوتني أسألك من خيره وخير ما صنع له وأعوذ بك من شره وشر ما صنع له. So what is it? Alhamdulillah, O Allah, for you is all the praise. You have clothed me with it. I ask you for the good of it and the good for which it was made for, and I seek refuge with you from the evil of it and the evil for which it was made for. Okay. So if you look at this hadith, pretty much the same idea, but taking another, I guess, direction. Allahumma laka. So what is Allahumma? The word Allahumma is basically ism fi'l. What is ism fi'l? Ism fi'l, it's basically like an adjective. Okay, Allahumma, and it's saying, oh Allah. It's basically making a call, and instead of saying, oh Allah, it's Allahumma. So think of it as an abbreviation, okay, and which basically means, oh Allah. You're taking out that call.
So it's not a verb?
It's not a verb.
Okay.
Okay. Lakal hamd. Lakal hamd, to you is all the praise. So when you say to you is all the praise, you're recognizing that every single good thing that happens, the true mentor, the true provider, the true energy, the true power is really coming from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So even if somebody's provide you a cookie or somebody gave you any effort, alhamdulillah. And you remember the Prophet ﷺ had said, whoever is not thankful to people is not thankful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because this is the first state. You would recognize the effort, I guess whatever people are giving you. And when you're thankful to people, that's when you would recognize that the true power that is behind all of this is really Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So every single time you would thank people, you would also remember to thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, taking that moment. So can I just be thankful? Let's say in myself, yes, I'm always thankful. I always recognize Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is basically the true provider. And I don't necessarily have to say it on and on and on again. So when you look at the dhikr, the Prophet ﷺ was doing that dhikr, and meaning that one, it is repeated, two, it is mentioned orally, and also there is a way to be thankful physically. And the way to be thankful physically is to make sure that whatever provision that you have is channeled for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that's the whole idea. So speaking of channeling that provision for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that takes us to this other segment of it. أسألك من خيره وخير ما صنع له. I ask you to give me the best of it and the best of what it was basically made for. So you've got a certain garment, you can use it for a good cause, or you could probably wear this garment for a wrong cause. So you're basically asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give you the power, to give you the inspiration, basically, to make sure that whatever provision that you have, whether it's a new garment or probably intelligence or probably money or probably food or whatever it is, that you're channeling whatever provision that you have towards a good cause. Now, that actually makes that type of hamd, that type of being thankful physically, basically, in channeling it to make sure that it's used for the good cause and used for the principles of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay. وَأَعُوذُ بِكَ مِنْ شَرِّهِ وَشَرِّ مَا صُنِعَ لَهُ. And I seek refuge in you from the different evils that this will bring. What do garments actually bring anything wrong? Well, certainly you can wear a garment for show off, and definitely it's going to bring about the vibe of pride, of the vibe of arrogance and so forth. So then in that situation, that would be a vibe of shar, that would be a vibe of evil, or probably a person even behaving in a certain garment. And just keep in mind that in Islam, you can see in the hadith, for example, the Prophet ﷺ had forbid certain garments to be worn, like silk for men, and perhaps certain clothes, if they are to stand out from the crowd. You're wearing a certain garment to stand out from the crowd in a certain way, then that situation, that would be a thawb shuhra. That's to stand out. In other words, you just want to somehow feed your arrogance. Okay, so when you look at garment and what type of inspiration or vibe, it can give the person the vibe of humility, it can give the vibe of arrogance, it can give the vibe of even something as to support the person even with their deen. Just just in the long run, just put that in mind. Of course, that's why with hijab, for example, it's to support your deen. It's to support the deen in the society. It's more than just a piece of cloth that you're covering your body with, but it's actually a meaning that would give the inspiration of humility for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You're trying to work on applying the principles of Allah in action. You're trying to embrace and show your embracement in your pride, in your faith. And that's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had mentioned in Surah Al-Ahzab, he said, ذَلِكَ أَدْنَى أَن يُعْرَفْنَ فَلَا يُؤْذَيْنَ. He said, well, that's so that they would be recognized. Recognized for what? Recognized for their bashfulness, recognized for their Muslim identity, recognized for the identity that they want to put on, an embracement to have the Lord Almighty pleased over them, and not the society, and not the guys, and not the women that probably are competing on what type of name brand and all of that. But no, she's competing. وَعَجِلْتُ إِلَيْكَ رَبِّي لِتَرْضَى. She's competing to have Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala be content over her. And that's why she's basically rushing for putting on this garment of faith. Okay, so when you look at this, أسألك من خيره وخير ما صنع له, I ask you the best of this garment and what it was made for, and I seek refuge in you from the evil of this garment and the evil of what it was made for. What is it to do? It's basically to give us the vibe, and let us just remember how to embrace the meanings that are basically within, whether it's a garment or whatever it is, the meaning that it should be channeled for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. الدعاء لمن لبس ثوبا جديدا. If a person, so this one's it's rather different, because now this is a dua to tell somebody that's wearing a new garment, and we would say تبلي ويخلف الله تعالى. تبلي ويخلف الله تعالى. So if you see a sister basically coming in with probably a new abaya or probably new shoes, you would say تبلي ويخلف الله. Wait a minute. So what does that mean? May you wear it out and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala replace it with another. Wait a minute. So you're actually making a dua that you want that to basically wear out and basically just rip? What are you doing? No, tubli actually means may you live long enough to be able to even wear it out and still have a good long life and health to wear even another one instead of it. So what are we doing here? Tubli, it's like you're saying, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give you a long life to wear it many, many, many times to come, to the point that, you know, all of course, the laws of physics, that at the end that it basically wears out, but you would still be healthy enough to wear it and wear it off, basically, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give you another one to even replace it. Okay, can I say it in English? You sir can. البس جديدا وعش حميدا ومت شهيدا. يا سلام. Another dua you can tell the person, wear it anew, live commendably, and die as a shaheed. So let's say, البس جديدا, wear anew, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give you something that is new and give you something always that is basically a good provision. And wa'ish hamidan, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give you a life that basically suits this new attire, where you're living happy, you're living to embrace all the provisions that surround a new garment. Remember, if you're wearing something new, hey, it kind of feels good, and it's a new start for a new garment, and certainly you're letting the person relate to that dua, and you're also relating to the dua. You're giving a nice, kind gesture by telling them, wa'ish hamidan. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make you a person that is living commendably. But the word hamid is not only commendably, but the word hamid to be also thankful. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make you always thankful in that new garment, basically. وَمُتْ shahidan. Wait, I'm making a dua for this person to die? No, because death is inevitable. There's no way that you're not going to die. So if death is inevitable, you're basically making the dua that this person would die as a martyr, as a shaheed. So why talk about mut shahidan and ish hamidan? So you're telling the person, may you live in a life where you are thankful and all the different good is surrounding you, and in the end, with your ending, you would die as a shaheed, as a martyr. So why death? Because remember, when the person is a shaheed, they're not shrouded. Okay, they're not shrouded. So you're basically, why aren't they shrouded? So they're not shrouded because it's kind of like this garment that they were dressed in was basically considerate as their work attire. It's the clothes of honor. When they're mujahideen, they're basically not shrouded because the clothes that they are wearing were marking as the clothes of honor. So they would basically be resurrected on Judgment Day with their clothes and garment of honor. So we would not shroud them. We would basically just bury them in their clothes of honor.
So they won't be naked when they're on the Day of Judgment?
Well, in the everybody will be naked, will be resurrected, because at the end, even the garments themselves will basically wear out. Okay.
Oh,
The
okay.
garments themselves will wear out. Okay. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala still, it's basically, remember, the Prophet ﷺ actually said, يُبْعَثُ الْمَرْءُ عَلَى مَا مَاتَ عَلَيْهِ. Every single person will be resurrected the way that they had died in. So this would be something to continue the blessings of the person, even in the grave. All right, even in the grave. So it doesn't necessarily have to be that, yes, this garment is going to be there for you. Okay. So it's not like you're going to be carrying even the shroud with you and somehow going out the grave. It's going to be a completely new start. Okay. So that's a different story. وَمُتْ shahidan, and die as a shaheed, because that's inevitable. So you're asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give them the blessing of dying as a shaheed in order to, one, get the highest ranks in Jannah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us this shahada. Allahumma ameen. What do we do before putting on the new garment? Well, Bismillah. I don't know why I think I would, if I were to write the book, I think I would first put ما يقول إذا وضع ثوبه. I would first put it here instead of two, but that's all right. Okay, so before you wear garment, Bismillah. Bismillah. So all the time, of course, in the name of Allah. Well, what does it mean in the name of Allah? In the name of Allah, meaning by the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, by the power of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, by the magnificence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I was capable of getting this. I was capable of putting it on. And basically, the power of Allah is the power that gave me the ability to do whatever I'm doing. So that's Bismillah, whether before you eat, before you wear something. And that's basically the dua. So let's do this. We're going to first make the dua. لبس الثوب. لبس الثوب. الحمد لله الذي كساني هذا ورزقنيه من غير حول مني ولا قوة. الحمد لله الذي كساني هذا ورزقنيه من غير حول مني ولا قوة. Should we write that? Let's do that, right? I'm going to turn this one off and we're going to write that, and we're going to make this super big. Okay. And we're going to write that for those that don't know how to read Arabic. Alhamdu لله. Okay. الذي كساني هذا, or ورزقنيه من غير حول مني ولا قوة. Okay, there you go. So, Sister Nazneen, you want to read it, dear? Go ahead.
No, Sister Aisha, I don't want to, but I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
This particular dua is only for wearing the new garment, and for the daily changing, we change pajamas, we put abaya on. So we only say Bismillah for the daily wearing. Am I right?
So you can actually just say Bismillah and not say these du'as, okay? But if you wanted to upgrade, all right, you wanted to upgrade your status, you wanted to upgrade your du'a, this would be Alhamdulillah. You could say Alhamdulillah and basically end right there. But if you wanted to further upgrade, Alhamdulillahi alladhi kasani هذا ورزقنيه من غير حول مني ولا قوة. Now you're upgrading your iman, you're upgrading your words, you're upgrading your recognition and you're upgrading your understanding, of course, of how you would live with recognizing the presence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and recognizing the powers of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay? So think of it as an upgrade. But you can just say Bismillah, and once you put it on, Alhamdulillah, you're all done. Okay?
Okay.
But if you want to upgrade, that would be a good dua to say.
Oh, inshallah. I'm so
Should you
used to
say-
saying it in my daily routine as well. So
Good job. Good job. So let's do it together. If you guys want to unmute, whoever wants to unmute, I'll read it 3 times and then we'll read it together. Alhamdulillah, alladhi kasani hadha ورزقنيه من غير حول مني ولا قوة. الحمد لله الذي كساني هذا ورزقنيه من غير حول مني ولا قوة. الحمد لله الذي كساني هذا ورزقنيه من غير حول مني ولا قوة. And in English, of course, Alhamdulillah الذي كساني هذا ورزقنيه من غير حول مني ولا قوة. Okay. Should we read it together?
yeah.
Let's do it together. So if you want to unmute yourself,
Let's go for the goal.
let's do it. Alhamdulillah الذي كساني هذا
الذي كذاني
هذا
ورزقنيه
ورزقني
ورزقنيه
من غير حول مني
من غير
غير
حول
حول
من غير
مني
ولا قوة.
ولا
ولا قوة.
Good. Let's do it again. Alhamdulillah
الحمد لله
الذي كساني هذا
الذي كساني هذا
ورزقنيه
ورزقنيه
من غير حول مني
من غير حول مني
ولا قوة.
ولا قوة.
Good job. Let's go for the dua لبس الثوب الجديد. Basically the new garment. اللهم لك الحمد أنت كسوتنيه أسألك من خيره وخير ما صنع له وأعوذ بك من شره وشر ما صنع له. I'm going to write it down. Okay, let's write it down right here. And okay, this one's going to be a little big. Allahumma, which basically means, oh Allah, laka alhamd. Laka alhamd. Anta, you, kasawtani. Kasawtanihi basically means you put it on for me. In other words, I wasn't able to do this on my own. As'aluka, I ask you. As'aluka, min, from, khayrihi, from the best of it. Wa khayri, and the best. Maybe I can. Wa khayri, and the best. ما صنع له. ما صنع له. Okay.
Are we supposed to read it with tajweed?
That's a good question. You can if you want to, but you don't have to.
Okay.
But you can if you want to. Wa'a'u. This little I don't know this one I'm basically making it like a sign for a letter because there's not one in English. A'u. So think of this one. Okay. A'udhu bika. Okay. Min sharrihi wa sharri ma suni'a. Remember that? Ayn. Suni'a lah. Right. So let's do it again. Allahumma lakal hamd. Anta kasawtanih. Ya Allah, all the praises to you. You put it on for me, or you're the one that provided me with this. As'aluka min khayrihi. I ask you the best of it. وَخَيْرِ مَا صُنِعَ لَهُ. And the best of what it was produced for, or what it was made for. وَأَعُوذُ بِكَ مِنْ شَرِّهِ وَشَرِّ مَا صُنِعَ لَهُ. And I seek refuge. أَعُوذُ is seek refuge. What does it mean to seek refuge? So seek refuge means I recognize that certain things may have some harm, so I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give me protection from the evils of what this was basically containing, and from the evils of what it was made for. Right? All the different things. Let's do it again. I'll read it 3 times, and then you can read it after me. Allahumma lakal hamdu anta kasawtani. أسألك من خيره وخير ما صنع له وأعوذ بك من شره وشر ما صنع له. 2. اللهم لك الحمد أنت كسوتنيه أسألك من خيره وخير ما صنع له وأعوذ بك من شره وشر ما صنع له. اللهم لك الحمد أنت كسوتني أسألك من خيره وخير ما صنع له وأعوذ بك من شره وشر ما صنع له. 3 times. Now we're going to do it together. اللهم لك الحمد
لك الحمد
أنت كسوتنيه
أنت كسوتني
أسألك من خيره
أسألك
من
خيره
خيره
وخير ما صنع له
وخير ما صنع له
على
وأعوذ بك
وأعوذ بك
من شره
من شره
وشر ما صنع له.
وشر ما صنع له.
Let's do it again. اللهم لك الحمد
اللهم لك الحمد
أنت كسوتني
أنت كسوتني
أسألك من خيره
أسألك من خيره
وخير ما صنع له
وخير ما صنع له
وأعوذ بك من شره
وأعوذ بك من شره
وشر ما صنع له.
وشر ما صنع له.
Good job. Now we're going to do this one. If somebody is wearing a new garment, you're going to say, Tubli wa yukhlifu Allahu ta'ala. May you wear it off and live long enough to wear it off, and even Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give you something new. Wa yukhlifu Allahu ta'ala. Tubli, let me write that down. Tubli. Okay.
تبلي
Right. ويخلف الله تعالى. تبلي ويخلف الله تعالى. تبلي ويخلف الله تعالى.
So we say this when we want to wear something?
No, when you see somebody wearing a new garment, you tell them تبلي ويخلف الله تعالى.
Oh, you tell. Okay, somebody.
You
Okay.
tell. Right, you tell it to the other person. تبلي ويخلف الله.
Okay.
All right. Right? تبلي ويخلف الله تعالى. That's a pretty easy one. That's not too hard. Tubli.
What does tubli mean again?
This one is easier.
What does tubli mean?
Tubli means to wear off. So you're just basically telling them, well, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make you wear it off. And in other words, you're telling them that they would live long enough to the point that this wears off, and they're living it for many, many, many times, and the garment would wear off, but they're still living long enough and healthy to get a new garment instead of it too.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Tubli wa yakhlif Allah ta'ala. Okay.
Okay.
So my mom's coming from America right now, going to Palestine. I'm sure she bought so many different things. She was probably shopping all the time. تبلي ويخلف الله تعالى. Right, Mom?
Yeah.
There you go. البس جديدا وعش حميدا ومت شهيدا. البس, we're going to do the other one. Okay. البس جديدا, meaning may you wear nude garments. وعش, may you live. وعش حميدا, live thankful, live a happy life. ومت, and die. شهيدا. ومت شهيدا, and die as a martyr, as a shaheed.
Is it like
this,
مت شهيد
this has nothing to do with
حميدا?
وعش حميدا. Yep. This has nothing to do with Iblis, by the way. Okay. Ilbis means may you wear something. Okay? Yeah, it has nothing to do with Iblis. Okay. Ilbis jadidan وعش حميدا.
Isn't حميدا like alhamdulillah, like always
Just
saying?
it comes from the same root. Exactly.
Yeah.
Good job. It comes from the same root when you say alhamdulillah, because in Lugha Arabiya, it's actually considered a language that is based on root. So Semitic languages are generally based on root. So hamida yahmadu hamdan.
وعش حميدا, so we're supposed to always like make alhamdulillah.
عش حميدا, one, you are thankful. And it can also mean عش حميدا, that you live in a good life. It can mean both.
Okay.
It can be a person is hamid, a person is thankful, and عش حميدا, that you would be living in a commendable, in a good life. And both things are good. It's like, yeah, live a life of being thankful and a life of basically being healthy, being in a good life, being happy, all of that. That's حميدا. إيش حميدا. الحمد لله. البس جديدا وعش حميدا ومت شهيدا. البس جديدا وعش حميدا ومت شهيدا. البس جديدا وعش حميدا ومت شهيدا. Should we do it together? Let's do it together. البس جديدا.
البس جديدا
وعش حميدا
وعيش حميدا
ومت شهيدا. I like the last part.
ومت شهيدا.
ومت شهيدا.
Right? Let's go for the last one. Is that the last one? Is it? Yeah. Bismillah. Now that's a pretty hard one. I know that. So we're just going to. Here we go. I purposely did that. Okay, Noura? So here we go. Bismillah.
Bismillah.
Good job. Bismillah. Now, you might say, well, if it says Bismillah, where's that alif that's supposed to be in between? So in Lugha Arabiya, yes, we can actually have abbreviation in words and abbreviation in writing. Okay? So,
What do you mean?
So
but the
for
alif is
example,
there.
where do you see the alif? You see an alif right there. So it's supposed to be like this. It's supposed to be like this. Bism, and this would be basically be that
Be ism. Okay.
ism, okay? All right. But we would basically say bismi as an abbreviation.
Oh, so it isn't wrong if we write it that way then.
It's not, but it became just bismi and like an abbreviation. Okay.
Okay.
And same thing if you were to say, for example, in Lugha Arabiya, we would say إيش هذا, إيش, and you're like, wait a minute, إيش, what is that word? It's لأي شيء, أي شيء. Break it down, and then we basically made that abbreviation إيش. Okay. ليش, لأي شيء. Okay. It's called اسم فاعل. Instead of saying لأي شيء, a long word, ليش. Okay.
Like abbreviation.
Like an abbreviation. Okay. So that's basically it. Okay. So, and of course you find that in Lugha Arabiya. Same thing if you're talking about Allahumma. Okay. Allahumma, Allah, and Allahumma really is Ya Allah. Ya Allah. But then you're basically Allahumma putting it together as really, it just means Ya Allah. Okay. So this is the abbreviation of it. And it became that ism fa'il. Okay. And of course, this is really common in Lugha Arabiya, but I'm just letting you know. And we talked about Bismillah, so that's an easy one. I'm sure all of you know Bismillah. Okay. Fatima wants to try saying Bismillah, I guess. Go ahead, dear.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
Yeah, for the first dua, you said when wearing a garment. So is it like whenever you take a shower, you wear a garment, you say it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. You want to upgrade and you want to say Alhamdulillah الذي كساني هذا ورزقنيه من غير حول مني ولا قوة. Excellent.
Oh, even if you washed
From
it.
the new garment, right?
No, it could be just your, hey, you, I
You
guess
just put something new on, different.
well, you just put something on. There you go.
Okay.
Make
Okay.
that.
Yeah, Dr. Aisha, it seems you omitted هذا ثوبة. You didn't mention ثوبة. Is it not included, or is the same thing with what was that one?
So in certain narrations, they did actually have a thawb, and the sentence, anyways, the word هذا, which basically is a pronoun. Okay.
This.
Right. So this basically pronoun right there, هذا, is included because هذه would be for if let's say you're wearing a abaya, you're not going to say هذا, you're going to say هذه. Okay, but don't worry about the right pronoun.
I mean the ثوبة.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. So if you say, Alhamdulillah, the Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had blessed me with this, you don't have to say, blessed me with this garment, because this is anyways referring to the garment.
Oh, it's
don't need to put two-
it's like a repetition, like you are.
There you go. It's like a repetition, because if you already are saying a pronoun, to say the pronoun and to say the noun, that's a repetition, right? So if I'm saying, Alhamdulillah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blessed me with this, you don't have to say, blessed me with this shoe. It's like, well, I'm already saying with this, so.
Oh,
right?
mashallah, that makes sense. Yeah. I've been saying that for a long time now. I said, that's how I was like,
Sorry.
I know. I could see that. I could see that. Like, so yeah, of course, if you're using the pronoun, that's basically it.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And certainly, if, for example, if let's say something is feminine, if you know if it's a feminine, masculine, like a abaya, that's a feminine. Okay. Unless it identifies as a masculine for a man's
هذه أباية.
no, نور الله.
No.
هذه عباية for masculine.
You are going too fast, sister.
No, Noura.
You said abaya was feminine, anyways.
Well, that's because the word is feminine.
جزاك الله خير.
عباية. If it has a ta مربوطة at the end, عباية.
Mashallah.
Right? So to make it masculine, it doesn't mean a abay to make it, masculine right there. Abaya in itself. The word is feminine. Okay?
Mhm.
The word itself is feminine. Okay? But of course, that's a whole thing in Lugha Arabiya. Okay?
Okay. Okay. يلا.
Okay. But yeah, so can I have the wrong pronoun? Don't worry, we're not going to accuse you of not being tolerant of other items, orientation. So don't worry. We you know,
We make accusations
you'll be
after.
okay. Absolutely, you'll be okay. You'll be safe, inshallah.
Inshallah. My bad of not understanding language, subhanallah.
Subhanallah, subhanallah, when people lose their identity, they lose their center, then they'll lose definitely their pronouns. They'll confuse everything. And that's why, the most important thing is having your tawheed in place.
No.
I know We know for those that mainly live in America, they know what pronouns and what we're referring to with this world of confusion of gender identity and all of that stuff. But alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
So
Alhamdulillah.
this is it, everyone. Inshallah, tomorrow we'll do dua dukhul al-khala, and we'll talk about using the bathrooms. We'll talk about making wudu. We'll also go in a little bit of details in terms of the etiquettes of sleeping and all of that stuff, you know. And inshallah, we'll see you tomorrow. There you go. Let's see. Maybe also add the du'as of doing wudu and stuff. Yeah, so stay tuned for tomorrow. A lot to say.
And in the last 10
Sure.
nights of Ramadan, can we make special dua like every day?
That's a great idea, Noura. We sure can, inshallah.
Inshallah.
That'll be great. We can, you know what, Noura? We could probably, in the last nights of Ramadan, what we can do, we can actually make those du'as at the end of the Quran. Hold on. And let's see. Is it here? I know it's here. Let me find it. Okay? And is it at the very end or no, it's not at the very end. I'll show you. We could do those. Oh, here we go. Oh man, I just skipped it. I saw it and then I skipped it. You know,
I remember we did that last year, right?
You mean this one, the du'a
For
khatm al-Quran?
1 year. Yeah.
Yeah, we could definitely do that and just learn how to read those du'as for like 10 days, that reading the same du'as so we could learn them.
Cool.
Yeah, what do you think? Can you see what I'm doing? Yeah. So yeah, I'm trying to see what you guys are seeing. So yeah, we could do that, inshallah.
Inshallah, jazakallah khair.
Yep, wa iyyakum. So assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, everyone. Inshallah, we'll
Alaikum
see you.
salam.
Wa
Uh,
alaikum
see you
salam
tomorrow.
wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum
Inshallah.
salam.
تقبل الله
Alaikum salam.
الصيام إن شاء الله.